So much going on right now. Oh my gosh. Getting anxious, getting anxious. Nita, where you at? So much going on right now.
Are you okay?
Getting a little anxious, palms are sweaty.
Do you usually get anxious
So
like
much
that?
noise. I was like,
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. As a matter of fact, I'd like to talk about this because this happens to you a lot.
yeah.
Yeah. So today on the Mac Show, let's talk about how do you calm your nerves, MelodicMic. Stay tuned. He's caught his breath. Very important.
Finally.
You have some clarity now?
A little bit.
Okay, good.
Ready to go.
It's really serious though. This happens to hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And even myself. Today we want to talk about how do you manage your nerves?
Those times where you just get really anxious and really nervous about things, and there's certain times.
Yes.
What about you? What are certain times that you get anxious or that you need to calm your nerves down?
I think in the past, going on a first date.
Hey.
Going on a job interview. Going to the doctor.
Really?
Yeah, going to the doctor.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's just an automatic, anticipated feeling, even though I really didn't, knock on wood, have any major bad news going to the doctor, but I just think it's the perception of the meaning that I've given to it.
Okay.
And that's really a good point because our beliefs really shape these auto responses and our authentic beliefs. And then we move into these conscious patterns of these behaviors. Wow. So these auto responses that really manage our behaviors. So for example, when I said, my nerves get shot when I have to make that doctor's appointment for my checkup or whatever, my tooth hurts, whatever it may be. I automatically think the worst. Why is that? Was something from my childhood really dignified and now I've adopted a pattern of feelings or actions that follow? So I think that's really important to understand in all of us because that really is a pure fact.
Right. I want to throw out a couple things.
Great.
I noticed that people have mentioned public speaking.
Yes.
Getting anxious when it comes to
I would
public
love to
speaking.
add that. Yes. That's definitely added to my list too.
That takes time and
Still
experience.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and still you get nervous. Maybe creating YouTube videos for the public that might make you nervous too.
Yes, it does.
And not prepared of what you're going to get back. How about having kids?
Definitely. I think moving into any life experience, whether small, whether large, or any size and scope, that autofocus again. It kind of kicks in. What does it really mean?
Right.
So I think a really important activity or a technique that we should all kind of find out, because it's different for all of us, is how do we manage self-control? So it doesn't get to that point. But how do we manage self-control? How do we, I think one takeaway that I've done, or a technique that I've done, is drawing a mental picture of what I would like the outcome to be. So if I was a little girl and I drew a picture of me going to the doctor's office and I've got a lollipop in my hand and I've got the doctor, with a big smile, maybe I really would have told my mind that it's always going to be okay when I go to the doctor.
So you're setting yourself up to be a champion of whatever that is.
Yeah, you're putting more control and a new meaning behind it.
Got it.
So sometimes we've got to replay some of the initial beliefs and meanings that we have with new ones that might help us, even though we don't really know what the outcomes might be. How does that sound?
Sounds good. The one thing I did, and you guys just saw right now, I took a step back and had to take a breath. Kind of slow the world down a little bit and get into my own scope of things. That helps me out a lot.
It does. It does.
Center yourself.
Yes, it does. Yeah. Yeah, I think we would all benefit from really learning some self-techniques on how to really grasp those emotions, understanding where they come from, what do they mean, and then replacing them with more positive ones. That can really work in our favor, sure.
I want to ask you something. Do you feel as though people harbor a lot of things and don't really dig up certain situations that may have happened that causes them to be anxious?
Absolutely. And they're not even conscious about it. And if they are conscious about it, how many times have you talked to a friend or a colleague and they're anxious, but they're really not sure why? It's just an automatic stimulus.
Right.
And then that emotion kind of moves into an action where you kind of stop what you really need to be doing.
Right.
And that's when it really becomes a problem.
Ooh.
That's when it really becomes a problem.
You just stunts your growth.
And a sign that maybe you got to work on it. Managing all of that is not easy, and there's a wide variety of solutions. But the last technique that I think is really important that I wanted to share is what I call move yourself into the cliff mode.
Okay, wait. Okay.
Yeah.
Describe this for me real quick.
So managing that why that we have in our mind.
Okay.
Why do I have to go through this? This might happen, and what's going to happen thereafter, and why is this happening to me? So when you start feeling those overwhelming thoughts and whys, you want to move into a cliff mode. So what that means is I actually have visioned myself climbing the top of a mountain where if I don't put myself in a survival mode, I'm going to fall down that cliff. So I rein myself back.
Okay.
And I do some internal conversations, or I put my survival skills on. What do I need so I'm not going to go down?
Right.
You know, I need to be building this over there. I need some sticks over there, whatever it may be. I need to tell myself I can't panic. So before moving into that cliff mode, put yourself in a survival mode and create your own survival kit.
Nice.
For yourself.
Adding tools to it every time you
Adding
learn
tools
about
to
yourself.
it, yes, yes. And whenever I'm very anxious and I think about, okay, I'm going into a cliff mode, what do I really need to do? My survival skills really start managing me.
Just kick in.
Yeah, and I get stronger from them. I get stronger. I'll get a little bit of an answer, but then that'll start building on more. And I think that's really important.
I got one more thing I want to add. Don't run away from it. I think that's one thing a lot of people...
It builds.
It builds.
It builds. It builds in an opposite direction.
Right. So you want to face whatever it is. It's like facing your fears. Sooner or later, you're going to have to go ahead and go head on with it and dig yourself through it. But that's how you're going to learn, grow, and adapt, right?
Absolutely. So start breaking those old patterns down that are not positively working for you.
Yep.
And replace them with new survival techniques. And think about that cliff mode. I hope it helps you because it definitely has helped me. But those are the top takeaways that I can really help with you today. And I hope that's helpful.
Yes, calm your nerves, everybody. There's things you can take with you now.
And take a breath while you're at it.
Yes.
I'm Anita Kay.
MelodicMic.
And thanks for watching The Mac Show.